everyone. This is Jamie Marboe Nichols, and I am the host of the Heart of Dentistry podcast, where we take the ache out and put the heart back in to our dental profession. Please join me as I interview various guests who have opinions and also solutions to what is going on in our profession and helping us put the heart back in. Hello, everyone. This is Jamie Marboe Nichols, and I am the host of the Heart of Dentistry, where me and my guests try to take the pain out and put the heart back in to our dental profession. And I'm very excited to have my guest, Edna Abreu, um, here to join us. And we are going to talk about, well, let me back up a little bit. I don't know if I have said this out loud to very many people except for my guests, and that is in season 3 of The Heart of Dentistry, my goal is to have two topics be opened up and just rip the band-aid off and start talking about, mixed in with helpful things for running a practice and or as a hygienist or assistant or office manager on how to best practices. But my two topics once a quarter that I really want to get out there is depression, burnout, and suicide amongst our dental professionals. The other one is in the diversity within the workplace and space. And so, Edna, thank you for coming on and being my guest because today we're going to be talking and ripping the band-aid off and bringing the heart back into cultural diversity in the dental space. So, thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This is awesome. I'm glad that you've created this space and are talking about things that most of us don't talk about.
Yes, and I probably, some people maybe look at me, I don't really care what they think, but what is this white, seasoned dental professional doing and talking about things that maybe
Mm.
don't relate to her, but to me they do because I'm a coach of multiple diversities. It's not ethnics, it's also some other diversities that we find, whether it be female, religious, even maybe a part of the LGBTQ society, things like that. So I have all kinds of people that I coach along the way. And I want, by having guests like you on, I want to feel that I'm doing the right things and I'm asking the right questions and that I'm approachable. So when I have guests on like you, I really, all my guests, but particularly on the cultural diversity subject matter, um, I just want it to be a comfortable place for a lot of people. And I know there's a lot of people out there that look like me and maybe own a practice or work in a practice where there's diversity. And I really just want us to be able to get to the bottom of this in how we can approach each other as equals and be more sensitive, yes, but also not so sensitive that we ignore it and people are feeling that it's kind of become desensitized
Yeah.
in a certain way. So this is a perfect time to bring this all up. I
Yes.
want to kind of go back into our history of how we met each other. And we met in Utah, and
Yes.
we both are a part of the same mastermind group, the Dental Collective,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. Almost a year ago now. It'll almost be a
I,
year ago. So that's
yeah, in a
crazy.
couple more months, I think it was May of
Yep.
25, yes. And I just loved your spirit and your
Thank you.
thought process and the things that you were going with. This group is so amazing because we come together with problem solving that we bring to the group, some of our fears, the things that we're, dealing with as
Mhm.
business owners in dental and personal things
Yes.
too, we bring up.
Yep.
And so I'm just so glad I got to meet you. And then
Thank
you
you.
joined my Women in Dentistry group, Do, and
Yes.
Duffy has, and you attended that. And we just had
Yes.
this great conversation about diversity.
Yep.
And that's where I asked you to be my guest.
Yes, no, it's been such an awesome year. Highlights of last year was meeting you and Anne and getting involved in things that I haven't gotten involved in before. And so it's eye-opening to talk to other people that I'm just like, oh, you're okay with talking about this? This is great. Like I want to talk more. So I think being okay, making people feel comfortable to have conversations like that is also important. So I thank you for that.
Yeah. And one of the things that we talked about is, and I don't remember the whole conversation. There might have been a little bit of wine involved at this, but we were talking about if I remember it, my way is that I was trying to encourage you to start a group for Latinas in
Yes.
dentistry at this
Yes.
women's retreat, at the Do Retreat.
Yes.
And boy, by the next week, if you didn't have it up and going, and whoa, I love
Yes.
it.
Yes. Thank you
So
for
tell
that.
us a
Yeah.
little bit about Latinas in dentistry and that
Yeah.
Facebook group that you started. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Latinas in dentistry is now one of my heartbeats, I would call it. So it honestly came from Do. It's such an amazing event. Shout out to Anne. She has something awesome going on, and I was so honored and happy to be in that space. Definitely won't be the last time. And I plan to bring more people with me. But in going into spaces like that, one of the things that I've always noticed is um, like where are the Latinas at? Where's like kind of my community? And I'm like, I know people know about this group. Like, why aren't they here? Like, where's everybody at? And so when I was, one of the things that I did do is like one of the times when we went into the conference, I just looked around and I'm like, hey, maybe I'm missing it. Maybe they're here. And I think specifically Latinas, and I didn't see much diversity in the room. Not
Mhm.
that it's a bad thing, because I'm like, there may not be enough awareness in the dental space about do. And so how can we get them here? And then as I went to bed, I was like, but I also haven't seen a lot of Latinas in different conferences and spaces and what's happening. And so I'm like, how can I form a group? And after speaking to you, is kind of like, how can we form a group kind of like supporting women again, that's more diverse, but in dentistry, Latinas, right? And so that's where Latinas in dentistry was born. I'm like, I think this space would be awesome to create
Yeah.
like hermanidad and have like-minded people that understand the culture. And sometimes we come from a space of being shy, like we're like, ooh, who's gonna be there, who's not. Sometimes that's a thing. So now we can bring people into spaces like that that know each other. And then I also want to make sure that as Latinas in dentistry was being established, one of the big things that people may already notice or not, but we did a deep dive into like some stats. Um, and we noticed that 40 to 60% of dental offices have at least 1 to 5 team members that are Latino or Hispanics in their offices. So the majority, we are in dentistry. We're definitely in there.
Yes.
So, but why aren't we in spaces like Do and like other conferences? And so
Yeah.
hopefully bringing some awareness of, hey, we're all going, let's go. And kind of getting us into bigger rooms and making a little bit more space for us. So that's why Latinas in Dentistry got born.
Yeah. And you guys are you like within a couple of weeks, you had how many people interested in on your
Yeah.
Facebook group that signed up?
Yeah. Right now we're at 194
And
members.
this is since November, middle of
Yes.
November that you
Yes.
created this space.
Yes. Yes. At
What kind of
194.
things can, because we're going to put your, how they can get a hold of you
Thank
and
you.
how they can become a part of Latinas in dentistry. It is for Latin women or Hispanic women in dentistry.
Mhm.
So that's what this space is for. Um, but how we'll put this into the notes, the meeting
Thank
notes, and
you.
people will be able to click on your link and join.
Thank
But
you.
talk about some of the things that within this community that you can that they can expect to grow from. What are
Yeah.
some of the things you're discussing?
So right now, there's obvious things. Thankfully, the 194 members come from all walks of dentistry. So
Hmm.
we have business owners, we also have practice owners, dentists, students, dental assistants, office managers, vendors, anything you can think of, we have. And so we're discussing a lot of like how do we grow within our space, because one of the things that I didn't share previously was if there are 40 to 60% Latinas in dental offices, less than I think 3% are in leadership positions, meaning less than 3% are office managers or operation managers or fractional DSO managers.
Hmm.
Less than 1% are practice owners. And
Wow.
so, yeah, and so that's the awareness that we want to bring at the high totem pole. We are the most employed in the dental space, but in
So the
auxiliary
most
positions.
employed, again, kind of, I hate to say the mentality is the worker bee.
Yes.
not
Yes.
the owner of the hive.
Exactly, auxiliary. So we're all dental assistants, or front desk team members, or lab techs, but we're not in the higher leadership
Well,
positions.
so if you, but most states you have to be a dentist to own a practice. Not all, but we know most states.
Hmm.
So do you know what the statistics are of our Hispanic people that actually go to dental school or go to dental hygiene school?
Yeah, so actually it's increased. It's increased by
Yay.
40%. I think 40, when I was reading it, because I have a presentation tomorrow, but I think it's increased 35 to 40% with the new generation. We have more Latinos and Hispanic in the Hispanic community applying to dental school. Now, do we know if they're going to be practice owners or not? We don't know, but that's why we
Yeah.
started the
But
group.
well, we have to start with, if we're going to talk about leadership roles, a big part of that is being a dentist. Even if they're
Yeah.
an associate, they're in a leadership role.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, Latinas in dentistry, they focus on how to go from the 40 to 70%, 60% in auxiliary roles and climb our way up to the 3% and multiply that a little bit higher. We want to see more Latinas being office managers, fractional off like DSO managers. We want to see them in the DSO spaces. We want them
Mhm.
to see more Latinas owning businesses within the dental space, speakers. Like if you think about conferences that you've been to,
Yep.
you can, if you think about any Latina speakers that are Hispanic or Latinas, you may be able to say, I've seen them one or two times in all these conferences. I have yet to, I think I saw one person and and I've been in dentistry for 23 years, attended a ton. And so the
Mhm.
question is, if we're the worker bees and we hold down the fort and we know all the things, why aren't we publicly speaking up and saying, hey, we also know the magic and what to do? So we're
Yeah.
creating opportunities
So
for that.
that I love that. I'm gonna have goosebumps throughout this
It's
whole
okay.
recording
Yeah.
because this means so much to me. I must have empathy high in my strength finders, but I just feel that I want everybody to have a voice.
Yes.
I don't know why. I was raised with a racist father,
Mm,
and I don't know if that influenced me. I don't know what it is, but I don't care what it is. I can remember being at a dental conference and being in line. There was a speakers group, and I can remember being in line, and somebody that I knew was next to me. And of course, I'm not going to say any names, but
mm,
there was a gentleman that was coming out on the speaking circuit, and he was speaking at this conference, and it was a smaller conference, but he was in line for the breakfast that was for the speakers, and he had long, beautiful, beautiful, well kept
mm.
hair down to here. And he's a speaker. He wasn't working in the operatory with his hair down.
Yeah.
And I just can remember the person I was with saying something about his long hair and how inappropriate it was to be up
Mm,
on stage speaking with that long hair. And
yeah.
and I said to her, I go, I have a son with hair that long, right?
Mm,
Like, you're talking to somebody, and I
yeah.
thought, well, what does he have to, and so I think, and of course, not everybody thinks that, and everyone right now hearing that can't believe that somebody that looks like me would ever say that, but it happens, it does. And so, but we're definitely going to have a part two to this because I really want to get granular on in the office space.
Yeah.
But just in the broader space of, like you were saying, in leadership roles, in speaking roles, in
Yeah. Ownership.
coaching
Yeah.
roles, ownership,
Yeah.
what do you think is holding the Latinos back?
Yeah.
A, and then my second question that you can answer is what responsibility or, you're the flagship now, in my opinion. And I'm sorry, but with that comes some stuff. So A, answer, what do you think's holding them back? Is it a cultural thing? Is it something that maybe people that look like me are maybe doing, like my comment I just made? Um, and then what is the responsibility of the actual people, Latinos in dentistry? What can they do differently? So start with the first question is
Yeah.
why?
Yeah, that's awesome. Like that's a really good topic to get on because that's something that we've identified in the group, like the why. Why is it? If we work really hard, because we do, we all know that, like Latinos work
Yeah.
very
Oh,
hard,
yeah.
we'll bust our butts. If we work really hard and we uphold these practices, why aren't we more vocal about what we deserve? And what we actually, where we need to be. A lot of it, honestly, Jamie, it comes from childhood trauma. It comes from
Mm,
our backgrounds. We, as especially Latina women, we're taught to do just enough right? Not do too much, not do too much, do enough to get you by. Don't be the loudest in the room. Don't try to do more than what you can. Have enough so that you can sustain your income, be a mom. You don't want to have a career that doesn't require you to be at home. You have to be at home with your kids. You have to raise the kids. You have to be able to be available for your husband and cook and clean. Um, and your job, your career, your dreams come last to that because we were taught that that's how it's supposed to be. It's been like that for generations upon generations. Um, we have this ingrained in us where our like men get served first, we get served last. We're the always the ones in the kitchen. Even though our men are held up to like they're the breadwinners and they have to have the tough jobs, we as women only can do the home stuff. Now things have changed, right? Like now women in my generation and then the ones that are coming after me, they're like, no, I want to do more. I want to hold space. I want to do more than just take care of the kids and cook and clean. Like I also want to have a career and own businesses and stuff. But that's there, it's still that little part of us that our moms carry on to us or our aunts or our grandmas or even our fathers, right? Because when I jumped into this journey, my dad, and I love him to death. So, Papi, if you're hearing this, nothing against you, but I love him to death. But he even said, are you sure you want to do that? That's not really a safe space. Like,
Mm.
women they don't really get up there that much. And you may just want to be careful. You're playing Jeopardy with what you're fine where you are right now.
Was he speaking to your coaching part of it or this Latinas in dentistry part?
So my coaching part of it, because I used to
Okay,
work
so
at a
not
dental.
even, so what does he think now? Because now you opened up a whole nother can of
Yeah,
worms.
he's like, whatever. At this point, this
Yeah.
girl, like,
Yeah.
even when I started traveling a lot, my dad was like, you're a woman. You shouldn't travel by yourself. You shouldn't travel. You shouldn't, who are you leaving like the kids with? Like, what are people gonna think? Like, you're by yourself. Like, that's not a space for you. You need to find a husband. Like, my dad was very much,
Yeah.
and then I was always like, absolutely not. Like, this is what I want to do. But I think Latinas we have that even and we want approval. We want approval from our parents, especially our fathers. The community itself has told us Latina women are really loud. They're spicy. They're like they
Hmm.
we have become these like beautiful women that can just be looked at, right? Just look at us and that's about it. Like everything else, like there's this nuance that people hear about where they're like Latinas make the best wives because they are submissive and they don't push back. Like they serve men and they serve their
Hmm.
children. That's been like get yourself a Latina wife because she'll take care of you the right way. You
Wow.
never hear the opposite, which is like, oh, don't marry a Latina because she's a trailblazer. Like she will start her own business and like, she'll do all the
Yeah.
things. You don't hear that. And so we're trying to figure out the why behind it. Obviously, we know it comes from childhood trauma. We also understand that there is that the space hasn't been created because we haven't made enough noise. So
Hmm.
we haven't. We have sat in our corners and said, okay, we'll just take this um, lead dental position job for the next 10 years at a dental practice and not move up. I'm completely okay with that. Why? We shouldn't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you think about, and I'm sure many people that aren't Latina can relate to a little bit of this too. Just being a mom in general,
mm,
the own guilt we put on ourselves, no matter what color, race you are,
absolutely.
it's a part. I was raised in a religion that the woman stayed home. You got
Hmm.
married young, the man was a provider, the woman stayed home, you know, uh, raising the kids and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
but with that being said, then you add on your Hispanic
Cultural background.
DNA
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
really is part of the DNA about the whole culture,
Yeah.
you know.
It is
And I know there's
absolutely.
other cultures out there that can relate to this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
And we're
you're
yeah.
Latina, I'm white, and we can only speak really truly from our own perspective. So anyone out there listening, just know that you can fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
this isn't just Latinas that have gone. This isn't just maybe um, Asian
Yeah.
females in dentistry.
Yeah.
I mean, there really is. And so I think that while we're speaking to what you're familiar with and what I'm familiar with, I really think that hopefully a lot of our listeners and viewers can see that they can also take the tips and things that you're going to be bringing today, and then also in our next recording,
Yeah.
that they can take that to the
Yeah.
office and
Of
within
course.
themselves. And so we're going to leave with how we're going to put the heart back in.
Yeah.
So what is the suggestions? What are the golden nuggets that you give that they can start out personally? Right now, we're just talking about personally within
Yeah.
themselves to get started. Some of them don't even know what they
Yes.
want to do.
Exactly.
No matter
Yeah.
what, some people just don't even have the confidence. So
Yeah.
what can they do to just within their own skin
Yeah.
start to change that message, that recording in their head?
Yeah. So that's why Latinas in dentistry is going to be in is a beautiful community because we've noticed that there's a gap of mentorship for Latinas, period. So
Mhm.
obviously mentorship is one of them. A lot of us don't know where to go. If I hadn't met Sarah Ritchie, who introduced me to the collectives and introduced me to you, and then I met Anne, I wouldn't have been in any of these spaces. So some of the Latina women in dentistry don't know where to go or what to do. So there's other ones like us now that we're like, hey, come to this space, meet this person, take this course. So I think a lot of mentorship and guidance is what we're doing. And then we talk about our foreign dentists that we also there we do have one we do have a doctor that's on our leadership board, and so we're also creating space for foreign dentists to be able. We're teaming up with a bill writer to try to get some of the things moved and pushed so that foreign dentists can now go to school easier and get relicensed in the States. So we're providing resources.
Mhm.
So a bunch of resources. And then we also have just honest, open conversations. A lot of the things that I think Latinas need to do is create awareness and ask, why have I not yet moved up? Like, what is holding
Yeah.
me back? And so that's what we're here to help them with, help them answer that question and guide them through that why. So just a lot of, I think, like connection and networking is
Mhm.
important. Um, like not having limited beliefs, like your culture and your background and your skin color, hair color, your accent does not define you at all. There's so much
No.
space for you guys to take. And then I think it's not knowing, right? People don't know how much the dental industry can give back. They can give back. And so just being in spaces now where you're like, you know what, I can see myself doing that. So I think just
Mhm.
awareness is something. And again, like I said, we created the group because there was lack of awareness. A lot of the members were like, whoa, like that dentistry provides that, or I can do this. And I'm like, absolutely. Like, come here. Like we coach
I
them
was just
through
gonna say,
it.
I bet a lot of the people in your group, because it's just you're just scratching the surface. I know
Yes.
where I can already like I've already got things for you that I want to
Thank
tell
you.
you that,
Thank you.
but and I'm sure you've already thought of them because you're brilliant. But a lot of people, I'm sure, in your group look at you and they go, because you're probably to some of them their first
Mhm.
idol mentor, that is Latina that looks like
Mhm.
them. And
Yeah.
so, do you get asked, how did you get this confidence,
Yeah.
Edna? How did
Yeah.
you become confident in your own
Yeah.
skin to go out and break down these walls?
Yeah, it actually started from a dental, when I worked in a dental practice, and it came from a dentist. And he said, you know what? You're really good at this. Like, you're really good at this coaching and speaking. He's like, your eyes like light up and get bright. Like, why don't you do something bigger? Like, you're made for a bigger space. And it came from that. It really came from somebody
Somebody believing in you.
looking at me, believing at me, and not letting me not believe in myself. And then for some reason, I continued to run into people that also felt the same. So my
Mhm.
journey was through guidance and mentorship and meeting the right people that kind of pushed me along the way and saying, like, hey, there's
Yeah.
more to you, like, there's more to you. And then for me, um, I remember going to a conference and seeing a bunch of women on stage. And I literally said, one day I'm going to be up there. Like one
Yeah.
day I'm gonna get here. And then my driver, honestly, was to make sure that I created some kind of pathway for women that looked like me. I'm also a teen mom. and like a first gen immigrant. And I was always told, like, this is it, this is the end for you. Like, you have a baby, it's over. Like, you're not going to be able to do anything else. And I remember sitting down with my son at 17, and I was like, you know what, you're not going to be a statistic, you or I, and we're going to figure this out. And I did just that. And I feel like
Yeah.
more women need to understand, like, your past and your mistakes, where you came from, doesn't define who you are and where you need to go. You honestly can define yourself and create your own future, your own path. So that's honest. That was my driving force. I said,
Yeah.
let's do this. I want to do it.
Yeah. And I think so get involved with people that are going to help lift you up
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
bring you up, and we'll put dues connect in there too, so that
Yes.
women in dentistry of any color, of
Yep.
any sector can join our group. I really do believe we still have a lot to learn, but I do, if I have it my way, it's going to be one of the best inclusive women in
Yes.
dentistry's group.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
And I'm just so grateful for that. And we'll have all of your information so people get a hold of
Perfect.
you. And we're going to do a part two because now I want to bring it down granular. So thank
Yeah.
you for being on this first episode. And
Oh,
thank you everyone for joining. And we are getting ready for part two.
thank you.
The Heart of Dentistry podcast, where we take the ache out and put the heart back in to our dental profession.